Keys to Survival. This is a presentation about tools that a victim can use to escape their batterer. A victim is going to leave their batterer 7 times on average before they are finally able to break free. Keys to Survival is actually an acronym that I came up with so that victims can easily remember what it is they need to keep in mind to escape and remain safe. K means to keep yourself safe. Go to a hiding place that will be unknown to your batterer. Don't hide with relatives or mutual friends. You will endanger them, not to mention that this is the first place he or she is going to look for you. E means to exercise caution whenever you are out. You're going to be vulnerable to attack, so be ever watchful and alert of your surroundings. He or she may be hiding, could be stalking you, and just waiting for the right moment to attack. Y is yourself. It's not a bad word, and thinking of yourself is not a bad thing. You've left because you want to survive. So no matter how hard that journey becomes, don't give up. To give up means you may lose your life if you go back. S is for strength. Strength comes from within. Pray, meditate, memorize scripture, study literature, things that are going to uplift you and provide you comfort in your hour of need. Renew your strength often. You will need it, especially if you find yourself alone much of the time, as I did. T is for turn. Turn a deaf ear to promises that things are going to be better, and apologies. It's your life that's on the line. O is for on guard. Be on guard for flowers, gifts, or anything he or she knows can win you back, play on your emotions, and make you feel guilty for not giving them another chance. Your life is worth more than what he or she has spent on what they have to offer you. S. S is for smart. Batterers are smart, and they're very manipulative. They know how to use what you like, what is important to you, what your fears are, just to get you to act in the way that they want you to. U is for understanding, and that is something that a lot of people do not have. They would rather condemn and find fault with a person that stayed with the batterer, not understanding how beat down a victim is, that they've come to feel like they're nothing because they've been told for so long they're nothing. R is for resist. Resist ideas that it might be better to go back for financial reasons, for the kids, for love, because you do love him or her. It's not worth losing your life over. And I have news for you. A batterer doesn't know what it is to love. They know what it is to control. They know what it is to intimidate. And they know what it is to manipulate. These are the tools that they use. V is for victorious living, and that is what you have started by leaving your batterer. Don't go back and lose. I is for important. You are important. No matter how many times that you have been told that you are not and made to feel that you are not, you are. V is for victim of abuse. One of the keys to surviving is to share your story. That's when the victim is the victor. And it lives victoriously over the intimidation, manipulation, and control that she's been or he's been subjected to for so long by the batterer. You take that control away every time you tell your story. A is for allies. Allies should be friends that aren't mutual, that who uplift and give you strength and encouragement in this your hour of need. Now choose your friends carefully. If you choose mutual friends, you can be assured your batterer is going to be trying to pull every piece of information out of them as to what you are doing, where you've been, where you're going, and he's going to pour on any charisma and charm that he has to use to get to you one way or another. L is for love. Realize even though you love this person, he or she doesn't love you and cannot give you love because he or she doesn't know anything about love. The only thing a batterer knows about is power and control. And he or she craves that control. Now, the profile of a batterer is they are very charming, very charismatic. They're a prince or a princess when you're in public. Everyone tells you how lucky you are. Everybody tells you that your batterer is such a great person. But behind closed doors, a batterer is manipulative, smart, controlling, threatening, and condescending. There's not just physical abuse, there's emotional abuse, there's mental abuse, the whole gamut behind closed doors. Batterers will try to isolate you from your family and friends. They'll make fun of you when you try to go and visit your family and friends. They'll try to make you feel bad for leaving the house and going to see somebody else. They accuse you of talking to other men or women and having affairs. That never ceases because they're so insecure. They weave a web of lies that nobody's going to have you, nobody else will want you. And you know, when you hear enough of that crap over time, you start to believe it. And that's why so many people are so beaten down that they don't even have a clue as to feeling like they're worthy enough to get out of it. And then he or she will tell you how they're going to kill you if you try to leave. I can't tell you how many times I was told that I would be cut up into a million pieces and put in a bunch of garbage bags and buried all over the woods so nobody would ever find me. And this is a police officer. Now remember, for those that go back, well, if you give up and you decide that it's just not worth it, you have to go back for the kids for financial reasons, whatever reason it is, you go back. What happens? The honeymoon period. Now what happens in the honeymoon period? The batterer is going to apologize, is going to promise that things are going to be so much better, give you all kinds of flowers and gifts, and tell you how glad they are that you're back. But guess what? It starts all over again. Only this time it's worse. Because you went back. Because that's what abuse does. It just gets worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. It never gets any better. And each time you go back, that honeymoon period is going to get shorter and shorter and shorter. Another thing they like to do, and I've experienced this one personally. Got a call one time from my ex-husband. I hear a gun clicking in the back. And I'm like, what is this gun I hear clicking in the background? What's going on here? He calls me up and he says, if you don't take me back, then I'm going to kill myself. Okay, so what do I do? I'm thinking, oh, I don't want my kids to be without a father, so I take him back. Hindsight's 20/20. I get in the domestic violence shelter and they tell me this is what they do. And they're not going to kill themselves, they love themselves. That's just a tool that they use to get you back. It's a manipulation and control tactic to make you feel guilty. And it worked. Financial dependency. Now listen up. Either a batterer is not going to want you to work, or the batterer is going to make you give all the money that you make to them. Because they want to make sure that you can't save up any money to escape. So be mindful of that. If you're in a relationship for somebody that demands all your money all the time, will not let you save any money, keep that in the back of your mind. Now, some things to remember. Batterers like relationships to progress very quickly. With my ex-husband, we met in January, we were engaged in March, we were married in April. Red flag! But I was young, 19, didn't know any better. But remember, they can't keep up that charismatic act for long. Then remember too, they will listen in on your phone calls, deny that they were doing it. In my case, it was a home phone. They'll follow you when you leave, especially if you're thinking about leaving. And then remember, the abuse only gets worse over time. They don't start out beating the crap out of you. They start out just putting you down, making remarks about you. And then it progresses to hitting, and then hitting harder. And that is where the mindset of this is the way it's going to be, you're going to stay here, you're going to do this is how you act, you're not to go in public without telling me where you're going, they're going to make sure you only go to that place. So it's a web that they have weaved over time. Never forget that. What starts out as a single strand becomes the web that entangles you. And it's very hard to break free. This has been an excerpt from my book. My book, as yet, has been unpublished. Publishers have told me that my book is too short, that it needs to be lengthened. And that is just something that I haven't taken the time to do because I want it to be short so that people stay interested. They take the tools, they use them. I hope you've enjoyed the presentation, learned something from it. Please, to test your memory and what you have learned, list 5 of the different ways to remain safe. So you can have those in mind when you meet somebody that needs to know how to get out of a relationship and how they need to do it safely. Thank you very much for your time, and please give me any feedback that you would like to. I would appreciate it. Have a wonderful day.